We're only one game in and already finals day here at the StarLadder Minor has delivered as Alliance behind their 3 tanky cores outlast Gambit and GPK's Sniper in one of the longest and perhaps the most exciting game of the tournament. As I turn to my panel here, guys, absolutely amazing game. It feels like the lanes were forever ago. Just tell me the one key factor. How do you think Alliance was able to turn this one around?
They had 3 heroes that literally do the same thing when you look at it. It's the Timbersaw, Dragonite, and Dead Prophet. These pushing kind, very tanky heroes that are able to take objectives early on, but usually fall off later on. But how they itemized played a very big role in their capability to take the game late game.
So Dragonite doesn't really fall off late game though.
That's true, that's true. Dragonite is one of those that's still a beast.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would underestimate that hero when the game goes 50, 60 minutes. But I like the point that you mentioned when you're playing this kind of like tri-core setup, you have to itemize very well to make your heroes work.
Yeah, plenty of, the itemization was actually really interesting even from the start as the Ember Spirit elects to go first item Spirit Vessel against these super tanky cores. The Timbersaw, meanwhile, bypassing the standard Yules in favor of the Lotus Orb, possibly to counter that Spirit Vessel.
Yeah, it's a normal adjustment from both of these heroes. One of the reasons why he goes for a Lotus Orb and not for Yules early on, even though some of you prefer Yules, is because of the build-up that it has during the laning stage. It kind of makes it easier for you to get it. But this game was so close, and I love, by the way, I love that these 2 teams are playing the upper bracket finals, the lower bracket finals. It was necessary.
No, you look at, I love the shot of Limp's player perspective after that last fight on his Death Prophet where he just sort of throws up his hands. I mean, he tries to man fight GPK's Sniper and already he's gone for this very farming intensive build. He just clicks him down.
The difference with that fight and the next fight is the plate mail. In that fight, he didn't have the plate mail, so he died very quickly. He was very surprised that he couldn't even stand and unleash his ulti. Then the next fight, everything changed because of the plate mail. But in the fights, I feel like the Sniper, sometimes he was kind of out of position or the team wasn't positioned very well to utilize the Sniper. You see here, the team is fighting up there and he was down on the low ground. And they couldn't really protect him because his team is already dying and he has to run. It doesn't matter if he has the Aegis.
I want to highlight though, this is probably the most important fight of the game for the Alliance. This is where they really started to turn the game around. And who's the first hero that dies in that fight? It's the Witch Doctor. Maledict alone in this game did 15k damage and almost 10k of that is onto, over 11k rather of that, is onto the Timbersaw and the Dragonite. With the Witch Doctor down, those 2 tanky cores felt almost unkillable.
Is the change that you talked about earlier. It's about the Maledict persisting through BKB. It's also the fact that you have talents that increase the AoE of that Maledict, so it's easy to use it on a target that you wish. But overall, remember Winter when you were talking about ease of execution? This lineup of Alliance looks a little bit easier to execute when you think of it. It's press R, go win. That Prophet, Dragonite, get those Blink Daggers and just rush them down. Gambit definitely made it hard for them, but at the same time it took 1 or 2 positional mistakes from the Sniper for them to get him, and after that the game is just very simple for Alliance.
The other thing that I'm going to flag is look at the farm differential between the supports of Alliance and the supports on the Radiant side. These supports of Alliance, they're the ones with the 4 staffs, with the Glimmer Capes, with the save items that it felt like Gambit needed so badly for their Sniper in some of these fights where he gets even a little bit out of position.
Yeah, but they were also using those 4 staffs and Blink Daggers and Hexes on Ancient Apparition to get to the Sniper. You had to get this mobility. There was no other option. And here you can see GPK, he stands his ground, but the buybacks are there for Alliance. They buy back pretty much everyone, rejoin the fight, and this is where they take GPK's Rapier away.
Well, I feel the Aegis is actually useless on Sniper. I think it's better for them to have the Aegis. It's a small detail, but it's better on maybe someone like the Ember or the Prophet.
I agree.
Because if the Sniper,
the
Sniper is dead, the fight is over.
It's hard though. It's hard when you have a hero with a Rapier to not give him an Aegis. That's a decision that's not easy to make. No matter how skilled you are, no matter how smart you are, when you have a Rapier, you're kind of tended to give it to that
But
hero.
it's the problem that a lot of people point out with Wraith King's Ultimate and why that hero sometimes can feel a little bit squishy in spite of that. It's so many points. If you're out of position and you die once in a fight, you're just going to die again.
Yep.
The Sniper wasn't able to carry this game, even though he he was given a lot of tools, but the team fights were, like, I felt a major problem for Gambit. They didn't really execute the team fights very well. At some point in the game, they had like a 7-8k lead after winning a fight, but yeah, Fata definitely.
I really love this because we mentioned the role that the Witch Doctor played earlier. Frost Blast alone did 16.5k damage, and over half of that is on the two big cores, the Sniper and the Nature's Prophet on the side of Gambit. Fata did a great job of prioritizing the fight. By the way, the earlier stat that you saw come up, 77.6k damage on that Sniper. That is top 10 damage total so far in this young patch.
It's not only about the damage from the ultimate, it's also about the vision that it provides you with. Together with Dice Vortex, it's just much easier to play the game when you have a decent way of finding where Sniper is at every single point. Also, the Blink Dagger plus Hex helped out tremendously. They had a Halberd as well, so even if you have a Rapier and you can't attack, that Rapier is pretty much useless. So great performance by Alliance. That defense in the end as well. 4 versus 5, managing to get on top of the Sniper. But that's usually what you have to worry about. If you're playing this lineup with the glass cannon type of a core, once you step outside of your base, that's where the real danger lies.
Well, I also think it goes back to the farm advantage on the supports. I mean, it's so much easier to defend 4v5 when your supports have items.
Yep.
Winter, as you go into game 2 here, you criticize the execution on the Gambit side. Do you think that there's any adjustments that they're looking at going into the game 2 draft to make things a little bit easier on themselves?
No, I think the drafts on both teams were really high quality. They picked the Prophet because they have second pick. I think could be the idea of like trying to give the last pick, the Sniper, a good game, because it doesn't matter what kind of mid hero you pick. Having a Prophet around the game, it does help you snowball because he can help you gank. So overall, I think the issue was just the execution in the team fights. Sniper, he wasn't really on the same page with his team, or his team wasn't on the same page with him. They weren't really synced very well in the team fights.
One of the reasons why is because Alliance managed to make the fight super chaotic. They managed to break the defense of Gambit. When you get 3 Blink Daggers and another one on Ancient Apparition, and you're a Sniper, you're like, oh god, I mean, they're just circling around me. You need to find a way to stand and shoot, but you can't.
That's the downside of having a Nature Prophet position 3 compared to like having a conventional one. Like you're a Sniper, right?
Imagine a Mars.
Yeah, you prefer like a Mars or a Brewmaster or even a Centaur. Wow. Like anyone to stand in front and just tank damage for you.
The other disadvantage of that though was that Dream's Ember Spirit was so poor throughout most of that game. There was a point in that game where Dream's Ember Spirit was sitting at 15k net worth, which was about 50% behind the top 2 forming cores, and he had like 2k more net worth than the enemy Ruby.
You shouldn't blame it on the Ember exclusively.
No, it's not his fault at all.
Whenever you're playing with heroes that have high global mobility, such as Furion, one of your cores is going to suffer. Right. If Furion is a position 5, even.
Not just the cores, the support will
everyone.
The support will have no money.
If a Furion is a 5, you usually see one of the cores suffering because he's always creep skipping and out pushing the waves deep inside the enemy jungle.
Tax.
Yeah, tax. Support tax.
Well, so this time as we do get into the game 2 draft, Gambit is going to go ahead and take out that Timbersaw that was so crucial for 33.
They get rid of the Mars as well. On the side of Alliance, it's Chen Batrider. Now they have to think about Enchantress, Nyx Assassin. Nyx probably is a good idea.
Enchantress left on the board in the last draft.
How about A?
A is there
pretty
too.
important. Yeah. And this time Gambit is the one having the first pick.
Clockwork is in the pool as well. There's a bunch of picks that are really great picks in the first phase for both of these teams.
Do you like this wrinkle that Alliance have added to their drafts? The flex picks toward the end of the draft, mid side lane, like a hero like a Dragon Knight yesterday. We even saw it.
What I like is more of the change in styles when they realize they can't get the hard carry. They are moving towards the having like tricore, like sharing the win condition among a few heroes.
And it's worked so far for them. So I'm happy to see them not necessarily pick different heroes, but adjust their playstyle differently.
And I think it's also what you guys were saying about the team fight coordination. This is still a young team. GPK has looked so good throughout many of these events already this season, but Gambit is not used to playing in these long, drawn-out games, and I think that the team coordination gets so much more tested when you're in that 50 to 60-minute scenario.
This is practice for them, Alan.
It's practice for everybody.
Nyx Assassin, there we go. I like it. It's a good hero versus many of the picks that Alliance tends to go for. just a strong hero overall that we don't see all the time because of the bans. Now if you're Alliance, you can think about that. Clockwork as well, Rubik too is
Rubik
still
+1
in.
is
Rubik
probably
+1.
easier to
Plus
pick.
one. Clockwork AA still on the table.
No, there's no A.
Oh, AA is the ban. Okay, didn't see that.
Clockwork Dark's here. Oracle is out as well. That's a combo.
You wanted to see that in the last draft.
I mean, that's the combo that some teams have tended to go for. No, Rubik is
Rubik
definitely
+1, I
the
like
easier
it.
one. All right.
Yeah, the one thing that I'll say about Rubik is that unless you're running him in the 5 position, that squishy support duo against the Nyx assassin can feel really dangerous.
It's not a Fata hero though. 5 position Rubik.
Should be a 4. Together with the Pango. Pango isn't necessarily the strongest laner, it never really was, especially on the offlane, right? But when you have something as a Rubik, you can pretty much just swashbuckle, fade bolt, go and pull the side camp or go and creep skip. It's a good duo,
And it's
position
a
4 and 3.
useful hero because when you're second pick, you have to pick your cores first. You want to pick a hero that doesn't rely on snowballing from the laning phase. You want him to be useful regardless because you're showing your core, so you're most likely going to have a harder lane.
Now, you throughout the tournament winter have been emphasizing the importance of these 10th overall picks in the draft, which is coming up here for Gambit. What do you think they're thinking about?
Possibly a carry because they already see the 4 and 3 from the opponent team, so you know what lane you're going up against. It's easier to pick your carry. If you want to pick a mid hero, I can only see TA.
And there are counters to Pango that are usually banned out of the game. I don't know if they want to go for those this early on, especially because they haven't played them too many times as well, such as Bloodseeker, one of the best heroes that you can pick against Pango. Something like a Puck is also in, but we'll see. Ricky Maru.
Yeah, in the past they've gone for Ricky Maru.
All right.
They're going to go ahead and morph. And this is probably going to be a dream hero, and I like that. He had a little bit of a down game last time through no fault of his own, just that's the way the farm distribution went.
And you see the adjustments being made immediately. They are first pick, so the win condition is going to move towards the carry. And morphing is really, really good against the Pango because you can steal the swashbuckle and you're going to be really mobile in the fights. And the laning phase is also very good for the morphing against the Rubik Pango.
And the AA, the single biggest counter, already off the table.
The AA ban is pretty much one of the main reasons why Morphling is picked up so early on. Darkseer banned out by Alliance.
So with the AA ban already on the board, what do you think are the next big Morphling counters if you're looking at Alliance?
OD, but that's a Nyx.
There's the Nyx, yeah.
Yes.
That's why I love Nyx as well so much, because it
Extra
covers
bans.
you. It just covers you so well.
There's PL, but PL's banned.
There's the normal, usual counter that everyone goes for. It's Slark. Doesn't work out in most of the games that I have
I'm not
watched.
even convinced that that's the normal and usual counter because the statistics do not look
Exactly,
good in that matchup.
but teams still try to pick it like it's 2016 and
I mean, there's one more. The heroes that you hate that you guys hate, the Chronosphere. You just clone on the morph and you kill it.
And it's an Alliance special. I mean, that is when teams first started mass banning Medusa against Alliance. Void was the go-to solution for Nikobaby, and it does play well against the Morphling.
If he doesn't more strength first.
there you go.
The
Void ban on the part of Gambit.
Right, so Alliance probably gonna decide their position 5 hero. You probably want a hero that could be useful against the morphing, like some catch. Disruptor's okay, Lion's okay, but we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen Lion at all this tournament.
Not at all.
Like I prefer to see a hero that has some sort of catch, but at the same time not too weak in a lane.
I mean, I think if you're picking Disruptor as Alliance here, you're committing to a tempo lineup because Disruptor, you can't play. It plays well against Morphling when you're even or ahead. It does not play well against Morphling when you're behind.
What else does Fata have? Ench?
Yeah, Enchantress is still in the pool. That's true. It is a strong hero that could set up a pretty good lane for them on the safe lane, no matter what's picked.
If laning is what you want, it's a Lich.
Lich is also there, exactly.
How about Shadow Demon? Do you like Shadow Demon against Morph?
We haven't seen much. I love Shadow Demon in general. I think it's underpicked, but we haven't seen much Fata on that hero. It's not something that Alliance has run much.
Venge?
Venge is in their pool. Yeah.
I mean, right now, if you're picking position 5, you're also thinking about what you're pairing it with on your lane. You're thinking about your general strategy. We're just spamming out different position 5s that are decent.
I think it's important to pick a hero that is useful against everything because you're gonna pick it like pick your carry last. So you want a hero that can open up the carry options that you can pick in the lane. So you basically have to pick like a general hero, like something like a Pango. Like you don't really want a hero that will limit what you can pick later for the carry.
Sure. No, I think your model of drafts as the tournament's going on winner is really borne out, where it's generally the second pick team that has the advantage in the lanes, where it's the first pick team that gets overall the strongest hero on the map.
Yeah, Gambit right now look to have the strongest hero on the map in the first.
Oh, that's the other. That's the other way around.
That's the other way around.
If you tend pick the carry, it's
but they could still maybe find a last pick that they can be stronger than a Morph. I think there's still Terrorblade, there's still
that's a
AM.
Fata hero right there.
It is.
It's a hero that doesn't limit you.
Secure lane securer.
Yeah, he secures you the lane and also buffs up your core, whatever you intend
Buff
to go
your troll,
for.
buff your AM, buff your TB, whatever it is. It's like
Troll still on the board. I still think Bloodseeker is a possible solution
for who? For Alliance?
for Alliance.
No, not so good though. I think it's not so good against Morph.
Against the Morphling, yeah.
Yeah, they need a very, very strong
I think
core-to-core matchup.
the one you called already, the troll, sounds pretty decent overall. Nyx
Well-
Assassin obviously can catch you out with whirling axes if he carapaces, but he can do it versus any given hero. So
It would also fit into this template for Alliance that they want heroes that can play both the mid position and the safe lane.
Lich Morphling is my nightmare. It always
There's a
has
lane,
been.
yeah.
Isn't that Lich Ricky? That's worse.
Lich Morphling is. You know why it's a nightmare? Because I had to play a Lich in my team long time ago when all you did is eat creeps. So I would have Morphling mid, and I'm a Lich that sits behind tier 1 and just eats range creeps. That's why. Doesn't feel
Oh
good.
god, yeah. Playing Lich back then was.
Doesn't feel good. At least right now you're annoying as hell. So if you find some satisfaction out of annoying people, Lich is good.
What are they gonna pick for Limmp here?
Puck. Versus Nyx, it's hard. Lina
I
versus Morphling, it's good, but
But again, versus Nyx, it's hard.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm
the
actually
makes a lot of-
thinking TA, because
I think
TA
TA
is
is-
good against Morph and Nyx, but then TA will limit the last pick of Nico, but TA uses the Bloodlust spell.
Okay.
So
There's
many
the
times,
Slark.
so many times I've seen this. Nikobaby is a really good Slark player, so we'll see if he manages to make this Slark work. But most of the time, Slark versus Morphling doesn't go that well for Slark.
Yeah.
And you do have the Bloodlust as a steroid for him. That's going to help him.
Yep, but the downside is they're showing their lane right now, so Gambit is most likely gonna be able to pick a hero that will lane very well against a slug, maybe a range hero, and pressure the slug from the get-go. But he does have the Ogre to soak damage in the lane. And at this junction, you're gonna pick two heroes together, so most likely you want to pick the hero that has no replacements, so that you don't run the risk into the opponent banning what you want later, and not having a replacement for it.
Yeah, it's tough because one of those last two picks does have to be the Shachlo hero at the offlane position, and you don't want to give Slark this beefy frontliner that he can just get free stacks off of.
There are different options for you to go with.
Puck?
Nyx. You
Actually,
can go
Puck-
for
Puck offlane?
you can go for ranged heroes with Nyx Assassin there easily. Something that might be a little bit out of the box is Lash as well with the Nyx Assassin there, but
Oh, that's really old school.
yeah.
Maybe not that old school.
Maybe not that old school. Good versus Slark through his ultimate. Overall, decent versus tanky heroes on that safe lane, such as Ogre.
Not necessarily something you're going to see in this game, but
Probably,
Gambit is
yeah.
one of the few teams left that still runs Lone Druid in the offlane. Oh, there you go. Okay, well, there's your beefy frontliner, though.
And it's a great pick against Slug in the lane and in the game itself.
Unless you feed.
Yeah.
Unless you feed in the laning stage and then suddenly you're just
And
completely useless.
all they need to do
Useless.
right now is just creep skip, go behind.
Yeah.
Because then the Ogre can't really pressure you in the lane and the Axe will get farmed.
Yeah, they have to do that. If you're Alliance, you have to be thinking about blocking some of those
Yeah.
camps as well. Versus Axe, it can be
And once that
very
happens,
important.
the Nyx will have the freedom to go bot to kill with the Lich
Yeah.
to give Morphling a better game.
All right, and Alliance is going to maybe the respect ban here toward the GPK Ember Spirit, but a number of his favorites are still in the pool, including the TA.
Bloodseeker for them.
Let's
Bloodseeker.
take it for Gambit.
Yeah.
for Gambit. It's good versus
Could be,
Slark. It's
yeah.
good versus
I think-
Pango. It's
I
an
think it's a
amazing pick
great
right now.
pick.
Yeah.
That's a great call.
I think Puck is also fine still. Those two are the heroes that immediately come to my mind when I see the Pango and the Slug.
It's tough though. Puck would almost be committing to a 4 Protect 1, right? And I think they like to have at least a little bit more potential for GPK as they go into late game.
They ban out the OD themselves, even though there's Nyx Assassin, because that hero works
so well,
incredibly versus
Bloodlust.
Axe and versus
Bloodlust
Morphling.
OD, scary.
I mean, it's about the save, right? You have Astral Imprisonment versus the Axe as well, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does provide them with a lot of ticks in the box, save, damage, counters the morph.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. It feels like this 5th pick is so much easier though for Gambit than for Alliance.
Exalt Invoker with
Oh,
Nyx,
God.
with Nyx and X.
Storm.
Yeah, the Storm.
They picked it before, they go for it again. Let's see what Alliance goes for.
Huskar. Who's gonna lane against the Huskar?
You could do it.
Is Puck still an option for them versus Storm in the lane? Is decent.
With Limmp for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's one of Limp's go-to lane dominator heroes.
Lane Dominator also a hero that's considered strong versus Morphling because you have that silence, you have reach, you have catch.
5 seconds remaining.
But don't you want a hero that
Problem
uses
is the
the Bloodlust?
Dragonite.
Dragonite
does.
once again.
Dragonite
I'm not sure
against
about this,
Storm.
friends.
Dragonite is good against Storm, it's great against Nyx.
Is it good against Storm though? Don't they just
Because
trade?
you have the catch. The stun is very good against
Once you get the Blink or the Shadow Blade, you have the catch. It's a tempo controlling hero, which is very important for them to have something to play like that when you have the Slark. Because remember, in that first match, they had 3 of those heroes and they
Yes.
kind of shared the load. Now, it's going to be on your mid laner to really make space
So
for
once
Slark.
again, it's Gambit with the strongest hero in the 10 heroes, and Alliance has the 3 core setup again, like similar to the previous game. Even though the pick orders were switched this time around.
So relatively even drafts here, or do you feel one team has the edge?
Just looking at the laning, I'm thinking about the laning phase. So whenever the drafts are even, I always try to look at the laning
I
phase.
think it's all about this Axe, which we haven't seen a lot recently, and how much he'll be able to do.
All right, all eyes on the Shachlo Axe as we go into game 2. Alliance are 1 win away from a rematch against Aster in the grand finals, but Gambit want to make the home crowd proud. Can they do it? We'll send you over to OD Pixel.
Thank you very much, Alan. Yes, I mean, I'm going to pass that question over to you, really, Lacoste. What do you reckon?
Thank you, Alan.
Can Gambit do it? Do you like what they've got going here? Last game, we saw Alliance with a very strong and solid draft. Gambit were able to push them to sort of the 60-minute mark before Alliance were able to close up the game. But here in game 2, do Alliance again have our pound, or do you actually prefer what Gambit's doing this time?
I still prefer Alliance's draft in game number 2 as well. GPK on Storm, however, was extremely good, but in that game he was pretty much the only carry. The others were not scaling the game yesterday. Now he has a Morphling. Dream on Morph is scary. You also have Axe, which gives you catch against the Pangolier, most importantly against the Slark, so that should be good. Blink Dagger timing on Axe is going to be crucial here. Also, on the Alliance, we have 2 cores who benefit so much from this Bloodlust. And Pango, 33, had an amazing game. He was definitely MVP in the previous one on Timber, so this depends which kind of item build he decides to go for in this game, but he can scale. Pangolier with the disarm is going to cause a lot of issues for these heroes.
We'll see how these lanes are going to start off. There's already a bit of action down bottom. Shachlo steps across, trying to take that outpost for himself. They won't have anything to commit on him, though, as in fact, Fata could be the one in a bit of the spot of bother as the Battle Hunger and Blast comes out. Excess Vampire's also got the stun available. He's waiting it out for now. Limmp uses the Dragon Breath.
Did you just say that Ogre is in trouble with Bloodlust and 8 armor, 15 region per second when eating a tango? This hero is just too beefy.
What he did, he's never in trouble, right? Yeah, I mean, we saw it there. Yeah, they try and go on him. He takes about a third of his HP, and you're right. They've got nothing else to offer.
Also, it's going to be a great Ruby game. Stealing Morph, stealing anything from Lich, Nyx Assassin, Stun. He's going to have a really good time. Even though Handsken kind of played this more sacrificial position 4 in the previous game, he also needs to be careful in this one. Like, I don't think he can go for it because he has a much better spells to steal in this game, and it's gonna be even harder. You have long zip from Storm in the mid game, Nyx Assassin with Vendetta, so he should be careful about his positioning. I think they will swap things around, so Fata will be the one fishing for any kind of info on this dead lane.
Now we'll see how well some of these matchups go. The mid lane, As anticipated, we're going to see both heroes just force things out, secure each wave with their nukes. Unlikely to be anything close to any sort of kill potential unless ganks do come in from the supports. But for the most part, FNG is going to want to be able to make sure that Shachlo gets a good start, gets those first few levels before he's going to be sort of self-sufficient down here. And, well, okay, actually just feels like he can be left already. So actually leaving the lane now. So Shachlo will be alone. And we'll see how well he does manage to do that, because obviously on the early levels at least, Nikobaby can afford to try and trade with him with that essence shift. Okay, they go for the lane swap. Okay, XS Vampire is going to be the one to stick down here. FNG is just going to be in charge of keeping top lane safe for Dream.
It's much more kill potential on the bottom lane, and
yeah.
the extra stun with the call from Axe on level 4. This one, point in Battle Hunger, causing a bit of issues, especially on Slark. He denied the 2 creeps. I mean, it's a Slark against the 2 melees with the Bloodlust,
yeah,
so it should be good for him, but not at level 1 or 2. Like, you need to be careful. Once Axe gets level 2 with the counter Helix, it's gonna be tough, especially in the full creep wave. But they got level 2 before them, so it's a big one.
Yeah, as soon as they hit that 2, they go onto the Axe. They've got the pounce for the extra control. Vampire will slow it down a little bit with the stun onto Nikobaby, and that stun will actually be long enough to make sure that Nikobaby doesn't have the full chance to bring Shachlo down, so Shachlo will be saved. We're seeing here mid, FNG. It's going to help GPK go for a bit of harassment. They have got that level in the pullback. Do they actually have enough burst to bring him down? Limmp, another blast slows him. He'll turn down a bit of the damage with the Breathe Fire, and he will live as he's able to get underneath his tower.
FNG has 5 mangoes.
he's ready to annoy some cores. He really is. And he knows after getting the DK low that there will be a delivery coming out in the mid lane. So FNG, after that harass, will stick around looking for that courier snipe to make sure that this salve doesn't get safely out to Limmp.
They can't kill Morphling on the top lane. It's Pango, who doesn't deal that much damage. Level 2 Swashbuckle and Rubik. So FNG can actually do this.
Yeah, it looks like
he popped the mango.
Didn't go for the courier instead. Did opt to just try and move back towards the hero. If he was a little more patient, he would have had a chance of sniping that courier away from Limmp. But as it were, Limmp is able to make the delivery safely, and the salve and mango are out to him.
He will have to come to the top lane eventually. They are not killing Dragonite. 2 points in Dragon Blood, more than enough. Also, Storm Spirit doesn't have that much mana, and Limmp with the tip. Dude, go away.
I was going to say, FNG just hanging around, being as much of a nuisance as he can. Down bottom, Vampire. They should find him this time. They will. Nikobaby claims first blood.
He adjusted his item build, like straight into boots of speed. That's not what we usually see from the safe laners. Their extra move speed, slow from Orb of Venom, and the extra move speed he gets from boots and Bloodlust, just to chase down these 2 melee heroes.
FNG heading back up top to help out. Definitely did a huge bit of work in that mid lane. I think when he came over, GPK was like, he had like 7 last hits to Limp's 12. So really sort of allowing GPK to close that gap and rectify what was a bit of a rough first couple of waves for the Storm. And back to top, and Dream CS has got 18 at the moment here, 33, and Handsken still playing very aggressive though, causing him to constantly have to keep that strength up. And the disarm obviously messing with Dream's chance to get all the CS that he hopes for. Down bottom, creep skipping continues as they try and pressure Fata. Fata's got to be a little careful how far he comes away, as Nikobaby for the most part is going to want to stay close to his tower, make sure that he doesn't miss any of these creep waves coming in underneath the tier 1.
Axe is getting a free farm, but so is Slark. They also have a kill potential if Nyx Assassin gets close. It benefits more Slark. Having free farm Slark against free farm Axe also depends which kind of item build Axe wants to go for. I see Phase Boots Bracer pretty standard, but he definitely needs a fast Blink Dagger. You can't afford to go for like a Hood or Vanguard anymore.
Bouncy runes up, so GPK will head over, get the bottle refill, as well as the stack on the way for maximum efficiency. Unfortunately for him, it's not really the 2 creep camps you would hope for from the RNG, the Mug Golems and the Centaurs.
Shachlo. Okay, Ogre just says, screw it, I'm not doing this, gonna collect some XP. Orb of Venom and Boots of Speed should do the trick, the extra move speed.
He's trying
Can't
to
run
juke
away.
it, and he's also using the salve here. He got quite a bit of HP out of that salve, but he's now trapped. So not only dying, but also a salve expended for nothing. And Nikobaby with that TP, in fact, the wave was in a perfect position, so he gets back to the wave before any of it is lost to the tower.
That's what Fata was doing. He's also dragging the extra 3 creeps to his lane, so no XP nor gold was lost.
Very, very smartly done on how they're constructing the setup for this bottom lane alliance. Nikobaby having 2 kills and pretty much free farming XP underneath this tower now with these waves pushing in very nicely towards him.
Ideally, you'd want to see Rubik rotating to the mid lane. Dragon Knight just hit level 6 with the siege creep unit. They want to push some damage on this tower. Oh, Regen Rune for Dragon Knight. That's going to be a big one because he was out of mana. He might get a kill. GPK still level 5.
Yeah, they catch him out with the Dragon Tail with the Breathe Fire. He's got it. Limmp just able to run him down as GPK was not prepared for that at all. Even though he had the 2 supports around, they could not get in position to stop Limmp just walking up and killing him.
They even saw him picking up that Regen Rune. He was not prepared. Level 7 DK against level 5 Storm at the moment.
Now look at the damage obviously done this early onto the tower with that first Elder Dragon form. Limmp bringing that tower down to less than half of his HP. The next sort of cycle of the ultimate will clear out this tier 1 tower very early on.
They shut down Dream on the top lane. Once again, 33 has an amazing start. Level 4 about to hit level 5, 32 CS, same amount of CS as Morphling, even more.
Yeah, Dream having to play very careful, especially with the attention that was drawn towards mid. His supports now backing up to top. FNG is here. Excess Vampire will also be around to join. I think they realize they've got to make sure that Dream doesn't get punished as heavily as he is. They have to try and hold 33 and Handsken at bay so this Morph has space to start his game. It's down bottom. Shachlo, again, grabbing a couple of creep waves. We'll get away with it this time. Fata's not going to look for the chase. He's just happy that Nikobaby's getting all the space he needs down bottom. It's level 6. Tread's done.
Bottom lane is done. They can't show on Slark's lane. He is level 6, which means unlimited regen, will always be full HP, and there is no burst whatsoever unless they decide to rotate 3 heroes. Slark should be fine. Also, Dragon Knight, pretty hard kill to get. Even if they rotate this position 3 Nyx Assassin, he doesn't do that much. Same goes for Lich, who's also level 3. So the lane that they're going to play is going to be the top lane, and the Alliance should know that.
And as sort of the game develops, how do sort of the timings work for Gambit? You have this Storm core and this Morph core. Isn't there going to be a period where both of these heroes aren't really quite ready to fight? Is this? Would you consider this draft kind of greedy from Gambit?
It is greedy. It takes a lot of time to build the items on both of the cores. Even Axe, who's not having an extremely good start, also takes time to buy a Blink Dagger. Let's see, mid lane, they're any rotation.
They've got these 4 heroes trying to go for Limmp. Sinister Gaze into the stun and the call. It'll do it. Takes all of them, but it's a worthy kill. They make the move and they're able to knock Limmp out of the game for a good half a minute.
That double damage helped a lot. Dream playing as aggressive as he can on the top lane, using a waveform and healing salves to heal him up. Still no neutral items on any of the heroes. Storm actually has Iron Retreat. That's a lot of stats for Storm.
Got a nice little stack here that Gambit will be able to clean up. Roach and Jelly found for both Gambit and Alliance, respectively. Sure that Jelly is going to be very appreciated in the hands of whichever 2 cores they feel. Actually, no, Fata took a charge for it himself. He says, "I'm taking a bite of that, Jelly."
Sorry, guys, I misclicked.
Yeah, always happens, when you're trying to send it back to base. Understandable, as Fata says, with a bit of a grin. And the pressure's on with this Elder Dragon form. Limp's looking to try and shut down some of these side lanes and take this tier 1 tower. TP will come in. They're going to try and push Alliance off it. A second TP as well. GPK.
They go ulti. You want to fight into that. I believe you don't.
I was going to say zips forward. They've got 4 heroes here, but the quick roll across. And
make it 5.
Everyone's trying to run in here from Gambit to get some sort of a catch, but Alliance, they're already out of there. Alliance, just they're making so much space for these other lanes to have whatever they want. This Slark, Nikobaby is able to move in. He's able to take away that bounty rune. away from them. In fact, they got all 4 because of that. Alliance get 4 bounty runes at the 10-minute mark.
That was such a weird move from Gambit. They are not getting kills. They stopped the push on tier 1 tower, but it's going down in the next wave, especially if Alliance brings the numbers. Dragon Knight does not have ulti yet. Storm proc.
Maybe they can see if they can try to do something about this axe as they'll move in with the stun. FNG trying to pull their 33 off to the side. But Gambit, they've just got to run, get back underneath their tower. They cannot fight Alliance right now. They just tried it as 5. They certainly cannot do it if they don't have the full squad. They'll lose FNG, and Alliance, they can just resume this push. Even without the Dragon form, they should be able to finish this tower as this tier 1 sits incredibly low.
Once again, this combo. Dragon Knight, the Fade Bolt. Sorry, Breathe Fire plus Fade Bolt from Rubik. That's a lot of minus damage on the cores.
Yeah, you cannot fight into it. You do not have the damage output unless you're able to burst someone at the start of things. Gambit, they're going to stick around. They're bringing, again, 4 heroes up, and they really want to try and get something from Alliance. With the Vendetta lead in, they're looking for Limmp. There's the break into the stun. Will remove that Dragon's Blood as he's losing a lot, but there's the Rolling Thunder across 33, trying desperately to save Limmp. It's going to work. Limp's still alive for now. Do they have any other nukes to bring him down? They do. The dunk comes out. They get the kill. They'll turn over towards 33. See if they can chase down the Pango as well. As 33, Swashbuckle's back up in 5 seconds, but the stun into the Remnant Burst. The call as well. They have the control. Setups there for the second dunk. Gambit get the 2 kills.
This is what Gambit needs to do. They outnumbered their opponents. Storm still not ready to fight, and Morphling as well also wants to keep farming. Bottom lane, can they get a kill? It's on cooldown, Pounds.
With the waveform forward, Nikobaby must use the Shadow Dance to make sure that he's able to move away speedily enough, not allowing Shachlo to chase him down.
Thank God Slark's going straight into the Fusel Blade instead of going for drums. Just bought that extra wind blaze for the chase potential on top of Bloodlust, so he can run down at the people, but Mana Burn is extremely good against Storm Spirit and Morphling.
Yeah, any sort of stun, and suddenly these heroes are going to be very limited in the way they can play away from the Slark, giving Nikobaby a good chance to really build up those essence shifts in these fights. That timing is definitely going to be something that Gambit, they have to have some sort of preparation for. The eyes definitely fall towards Shachlo. He needs to find that Blink Dagger. He's 1,300 into it. Hasn't queued it up, but I would imagine it's got to be the item on his shopping list. He needs it.
They definitely need it. So Storm has a hero to play with. Also has Rune in the bottle, which will allow him to go for smoke gank, I believe. Like, they need to get a kill with this Arcane Rune on Storm Spirit. You want to fight, it's also full Kaya on him.
Yeah, he's more than happy to make a play here for sure, GPK. If they see an opportunity. Alliance as it is, though, Limp's playing it safe. He's got to stack up, cleans it out in the jungle. He's going to go straight for that treads into BKB, so he can run into these fights. And as we've seen before, it's still very hard to bring down this DK early on. They can do it. With the BKB, they're just not going to have the physical damage answers to kill him off. So he can just pop that ult. And each time with the BKB and Elder Dragon form in this early game, Gambit's going to have to look elsewhere. They don't want to try and take a fight into that DK at that stage.
Once again, Alliance has a lineup that wants to go together instead of just getting pick-offs. So Dragon Knight natural item build is going to be that BKB. They have no real physical damage at the moment. What is Morphling building? He's going for Lincoln Sphere, now switching to E-Blade. So he's still undecisive what to go for.
Let's see if they can do it with the 3 heroes. There's the opening, there's the break. Have they got the damage with the pullback? Chain Frost thrown out as well. Limmp getting burst low. Will turn with the Dragon Tail, but the bounce off the neutral creep with the Chain Frost works in their favor. Gambit, they get the pick off. Stolen zip from Handsken. Goes forward to try and set up onto the Storm. He's able to get across, pick up the haste rune, so will manage to run away, taunting 33 on the escape there, GPK. Some clever moves here from Gambit, working really nicely with this Nyx Assassin and Excess Vampire. Each time, he is the reason why they are able to have the damage to kill off this Dragon Knight, getting that break hit and setting him up to be very vulnerable.
They can smoke again if they have another one. Axe. Where's that Blink Dagger?
It's coming out.
It's coming, but I don't have any kind of smokes. So they should keep playing this assassination game instead of going for towers because they lack damage. And Morphling still needs to recover. He has less net worth than Pango at the moment.
They are going to have to be a little aware
another smoke. Here we go.
That the diffusal blade's up on Slark. So now in these fights, if there's the chance for Nikobaby to get involved, he is going to be there ready to look to sort of perform the cleanup crew for Alliance.
They know where he is.
soon as he shows, actually Nikobaby pouncing away. Doesn't want to pounce for commitment, knows that Shachlo's coming in and a potential call could be there. He's going to go back in onto FNG, but there's the call. Swashbuckle comes in from the side. They've got the lift up with the stun. It's there onto Nikobaby. He's dunked down. Gambit, they get rid of the Slark. There's still the numbers here for Alliance with the Rolling Thunder coming through. Shachlo will be chased. He's trapped, knocked up to the cliff, but 33 can chase him with the Swashbuckle, take the kill in trade.
They're going to take that trade. I love the bait from Lich. He threw his body, so Slark is gonna keep attacking him while Axe was positioning himself well with that Blink Dagger and nice spell usage from Team Gambit. Even though they lost 2, they still killed Slark, which was a pretty big deal while Dream was farming on the bottom lane.
We see that bottom XS Vampire. He's ready to eye up the next target. He's in with the Vendetta. Who are they going to be able to make a go on? They're looking for 33, but already they've already lost the Morph as Handsken. He just straight up nukes him down. Dream was not ready. He was too focused on looking at the initiation potential from XS Vampire that he wasn't prepared for someone to wrap around and burst him when he was shifted pretty far, well, it's far enough into the Agi. He was just sitting too low.
All eyes on offense and no defense. We've seen a lot of Morphs making the same mistakes. They're playing extremely greedy, and then this, where you have so much magical damage burst, especially when Handsken steals a good spell. You should be careful.
Now we'll see this play again back round mid. I mean, it was, as you say, they just the blink from Axe, perfect sort of time to pick it up. They weren't prepared. You see that commitment from Nikobaby. Just didn't expect the blink call to come in, but it did cost Nikobaby his life. Sure, they get kills in return. Overall, though, with that play happening down bottom, with the Morph getting shut down even more, you see Dream, he still sits there in the middle of the net worth. His game has been a very slow start. As there sits a 2K difference between him and Nikobaby. Nikobaby, level 12-2 now as well. So
if they can kill him once again, this is going to be big. They see him blink.
Ooh, there's the Omen stun. He did get the shift off, but with that angle, they're going to continue to bounce around, hold him in place with the Rolling Thunder. He is dead. Shachlo jumps in.
What a Rolling Thunder.
It's a great Chain Frost, but it's still not quite enough damage, as the stolen Chain Frost from Handsken is absolutely perfect. It couldn't be better.
Team wipe. Man, 33 is playing out of his mind this series.
This Rolling Thunder, I mean, already being in that closed sort of area in that camp, the setup was there, 33 seizes it, and as I say, the cleanup damage is being done by Handsken, getting that Chain Frost steal and coming out with a Chain Frost that just does so much more than that of FNG's.
And this is going to be a free Roche for them. They have the extra attack speed from the level 4 Bloodlust, they have Disarm. They don't even know about it. We're going to see that one again.
I mean, already it's a rough start. Sure, Dream gets the shift up, but they have so much damage and he's alone. I mean, they know
Gambit.
Gambit.
Look at Handsken. He's positioning, just standing on the high ground. He knows. He's waiting for that Chain Frost to be stolen.
And even though the bounces were out from FNG, it didn't have enough targets here. As Fata getting into it. It's a rough one. FNG hands behind his head. It's those sort of deaths on your carry, it's going to hurt. He knows that Dream's game is suffering so much. Look at the net worth. Now, after that fight with those kills, Handsken is on the same net worth as Dream's Morphling.
It's a support Morphling at the moment.
It kind of is. It's been knocked down as that position, 0-2-0.
I'm wondering if he wants to keep that one.
What sort of live the full support lifestyle. Yeah. That's been a rough start for the Morph. Alliance's pressure just a little too much for Dream in this early game.
Dragonite finished his BKB, so they have nothing against him unless they chain him down. They have this Berserker's Call, but that's not enough if he preemptively pops it. It's also a 10-second BKB.
GPK, smart to jump away there. A telekinesis into a pounce could have ended him.
Carino on the courier. Still works.
Now we'll hold back that Yasha for a couple of minutes from Nikobaby. Shachlo hanging around this area. I mean, he may even see opportunities to get more couriers. Wards are coming out, but it's just out of his range of vision. So won't see those. His build, trying to get that 4-star to make sure he has some sort of a save. Needs to ensure that his cores, such as this Morph, don't die to the jump.
They would gladly want to take another fight. Still 30 seconds left on Stolen Chain Frost, but he's a bit far away from his team, and they will have a vision on him pretty soon.
Oh, bit of a freebie for Nikobaby. Over they go. FNG's found. They'll look to take this outpost, and they will get it. So at 20 minutes, no XP bonus for Gambit. Alliance off to an excellent start here in game 2. Gambit, they drafted these heroes, as we said, this Storm and Morph, they need time. The start has been slow. They need to somehow find a way of avoiding these moves from Alliance to give them the opportunity to at least get their first item done.
Still 2.5 minutes left on that Aegis, so they can invade enemy jungle, pop a DK ulti, grab some tier 2 towers. Limmp a bit alone on the mid, even though he has a BKB. Should be careful if the rest of the team is not with him.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Shachlo find the tier 1 bottom, but the bigger threat for Gambit definitely being that of mid. Alliance, Nikobaby, ready to go very aggressive, 1,000 gold away, and he'll have the full S and Y done.
Dire structures are fortified.
Farm is being kept on par, though, by GPK.
Under attack.
He's up there,
Radiant
level with that of the
structures are
slot.
fortified.
See what he wants to go for next after the Bloodstone. Maybe forced to
Is under attack.
go for a defensive item such as the BKB. We'll see what his call is. He does need to be that playmaker. E-Blade is finally out for Dream, so he himself will be able to offer some sort of burst. They have this chance to at least nuke down one of the members of Alliance as these fights start, and they're going to look to use it straight away. They're smoking up. They head out. Nikobaby would be the Dream find.
This is not the target that you want to kill.
Okay, they want to go for something a little easier. I'll say easier, but Limmp, he's just instantly going to respond to that Vendetta hit with no hesitation. BKB is popped, Rolling Thunder comes across, and with their outpost being Alliances, TP backups coming in. Nikobaby is ready to look to chase down another as 33 closes the gap. E-Blade will be used in an attempt to keep FNG alive defensively, but it won't save him. They still make the pounce connection and clean up a second kill.
Axe with a fake call. Does not want to commit. The Dragon Knight doesn't have ulti for the next 20 seconds. Also Nyx Assassin with extremely greedy play. Yes, you want to break a Dragon Knight, but that stun, it takes time, especially if the hero is moving. So he will always have this window where he can pop a BKB.
I mean, it was definitely a hard call to make because, you know, as you say, if he does get the stun, he hasn't got the break, so maybe then they don't actually kill him before the stun ends. Either way, just a very hard target for them to go on, considering that fast BKB timing that Limmp has picked up this match.
And they're controlling both outposts, so this allows Fata to farm the bottom lane and the TP and participate into a fight. Level 13 Ogre, almost 2,000 HP. Like, you can't even kill him with the shotgun.
Yeah, these sort of burst combos, it's just not easy to find the targets at all.
Handsken is having such a good game. 6-0 and 4, stealing that Chain Frost. Didn't die a single time. I talked about how Fata will be the one playing this dead lane, fishing for any kind of information from the enemy team, trying to kill himself. We've seen it in this game. Handsken, 0 deaths. Playing a totally different game than in the previous one. Yeah,
both him and Limmp are going to be always ready to make that jump onto Dream. With these Blink Daggers, Dream has to be so careful at any time he shows. If they're able to get in with an instant Telekinesis or Dragon Tail, this Morph it's going to be hard to save him because of the farm that Gambit's sort of is lacking. They just don't have the items or capabilities quite yet to save their heroes. XS Vampire's nearly got the Force Staff, so that will be something. He's 100 gold away from it. Ideally, he does want to get that before they make a move and end up in another team fight with Alliance, because as it is, both Dream and GPK are very vulnerable to being jumped on.
And Nikobaby is adjusting his item build. I love that, going for the status resistance build against the Axe, so they can't burst him down, gives you extra strength, and also goes for 20% lifesteal. He doesn't need attack speed, he gets it from Bloodlust.
Bit of a risky move there from Shachlo as he tries to take the illusion room. We'll get it. He's able to get in and get out. And okay, sorry, yeah, so he has his force as well. So they do have 2 forces in play. Gambit, they certainly need it. Got to keep their core safe. They have to make sure that GPK's game continues to be clean. I mean, sort of in standard GPK fashion, as he is at the top, despite the game being a rough opening for his team as a whole. GPK, he somehow always finds the means to stay very relevant in these matches. You know, you never really see GPK playing from behind. He's always there at the lead.
Yeah, no matter how bad or good his team is doing, GPK always in top of network, always finds the farm. If he's not having a good early time, you know that there's going to be some stacks by FNG, so he can come back into the game.
Well, they're inside Alliance's jungle. Alliance coming over with the smoke. Who's going to get jumped on first? Shachlo quick with the blink to dodge the swashbuckle. They know that Alliance are chasing them down. Limmp looks for the breathe fires, use the Elder Dragon form, but doesn't find a target straight away. They'll de-ward. The Gambit are able to get out. Excess Vampire with the TP in the tree line, and the rest of them will be able to get away before Alliance can pounce on them.
Gambit wants to drag this game for another 20-25 minutes if possible. Storm Spirit always threat in the late game, and the Morphling still needs to recover, even though he caught up, has that Ethereal Blade finished, which allows him to have this extra burst damage that they are kind of lacking.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall the recovery from Gambit is certainly starting to show. You know, Alliance, they're able to make those early plays, but the gold difference is waning. It's getting smaller. I mean, you see GPK, his movement's just everywhere across the map. He's not afraid to go wherever he feels is where Alliance is. Always finding the side lane on the opposite side of the map to where Alliance's presence is, and that has ensured that he has just stayed on top of the farm game this whole 26 minutes so far.
Always finds the farm, has that BKB now, so he should not be too scared unless they chain stun him, and FNG got caught.
Quick way to start things off. They'll look towards the Lich. They also get the control on the Axe on the side as Limp's in with the Dragon Tail stun. Will be able to slide up to the high ground with the Force Staff. That movement speed should be fine here, getting away. As I say that, no, Nikobaby is still chasing. The Blink's back available, so another Blink back will save it. Shachlo will live. Only losing FNG, so Gambit doing a good job of making sure that both Dream and GPK are never really found by these sweeps that Alliance are trying to make of Gambit's jungle. With that Central Ward down, Shachlo sees a chance to open up onto the Ogre. Limp's going to be able to counterplay, finds the Dragon Tail stun onto the Morph, the Telekinesis as well. In comes the Rolling Thunder. Again, 33's there perfectly in time with the follower to make sure they have that extra bit of stun to kill off Dream before he can make a play at all.
You do not want to go for Ogre. He has 2,000 HP and 13 armor. You can't just burst him down. Also has this cloak and the casual bracer, which gives him 60% magical resistance.
The reach is there from Handsken. Well, the Telekinesis won't quite drag Excess Vampire down to the ground. But for as careful as Gambit is playing, any sort of slip-up, any sort of point in the game where Dream is a little bit too far out there, Alliance, they just strike immediately. And they do it as a team, and you see sort of the way they stagger their spells, their stuns. It's done in a way that suddenly this Morph, even though the strength is shifted pretty high for Dream, it doesn't matter. They have enough control and lockdown when they work as beautifully as they are right now.
It's a lot of damage in short period of time with these heroes, especially if Ogre gets a Fire Blast. Rubik is having an amazing time. Still 0 deaths, very nice spells to steal anything from Nyx Assassin, or if you steal Electric Vortex from Storm Spirit, even Frost Shield from Lich will do the trick. Oh, Bango with the Mindbreaker.
So one of the juiciest ones for him. If he wants to take it, that is. We'll see who they do give the Mindbreaker to. Gambit. They're actually heading over again. Excess Vampire with the lead in. They do find the opening onto Nikobaby. Can they burst him in time? They can. They get the Slark kill. Can they go for more? Limmp committing with the BKBs onto FNG with the Dragon Tail. Forced to the side, but FNG Frost Shield won't save him. The Lich goes down. Now the counterplay. Nikobaby, he bought back for this. Sees an opportunity to get in onto Dream, but Dream turns into the Slark. He pounces away, but look who's waiting in the pit. Fata. He knew that this Morph would try and juke things out into the Roche pit. He was waiting, had the Fire Blast. Dream is dead yet again, and Alliance could continue to clean up. Alliance, they are just stepping up their play. These movements, these calls from the Nikobaby buyback to Fata in position, ready for the pounce. They're doing it all here, Alliance, and it's keeping them ahead. It's giving them the chance to go in a Roche.
And that fight was without Dragonite ulti, man. What a positioning from Fata. Also, instant buyback from Nikobaby. He understands. Roche is out. We can take this fight.
Yeah.
They can't fight us once again in this clutch area where Pangolier ulti is gonna stun them for so long. He also has the 15 level talent, extra 4 seconds duration, one of my favorite positions.
Yeah.
Level 15 talents.
Fata and the lads ready to go here, holding this lead. It's still a close one because of how, you know, even though the kills, they're sort of spiraling out of control, you know, 24-6. 6K in it, it's a little more significant now that the Roshan has been taken, but you just look at GPK, you gotta say, how is he doing it? How is this guy so farmed in a game that's looking pretty tough for Gambit. He is just keeping his cool. He's not letting himself go down, and he's still getting these items out at a very, very fast pace.
He didn't die for the past 15 minutes. That's one of the reasons why he's still 3,000 ahead of Slark, even though they are getting both Roshans. They're leading in towers. It's insane.
I mean,
No
it
reason.
really is.
I mean, no surprise there that every CIS team wanted to get him.
Because this is not an easy game for Gambit. Alliance, they're really amping up the pressure. But as I say, GPK, he's keeping his cool. The Orchid on top of this BKB Bloodstone is going to be out in excellent timing. And then he can look to get a little more aggressive in the fights. As it's been so far, he's had to play it safe. Dream with the way that things are going. He's picked up the ultimate orb, but he realizes he needs that BKB as soon as he can. As it is, he's just getting chain stunned up in every single engagement. He's got to get that BKB done.
It's tough for Morph to play. Like, he's forced to keep an ultimate orb and go for BKB so that they can't lock him down. They have no abilities that go through magic immunity unless they steal Berserker's Call. They're really limited on damage. Storm Spirit, level 21. He needs to clear those waves.
There we go, ready for pushing towards this high ground. See what Gambit can do to stop this. Can be a bit of a slow siege. Still 3 minutes to play with that Aegis. Down bottom, Handsken, he's looking to set up onto Shachlo with the help of Limmp. Shachlo tries to blink and force away, but there's the quick telekinesis from Handsken, throwing him back into the clutches of Limp's DK, and with the Elder Dragon form, they should have the damage. He tries to TP out, but Handsken just styling on him with the stolen Berserker's Call.
It was a nice play from Shachlo. Worth it. He didn't know if it was on a cooldown or not. Still Aegis and Cheese in hands of Nikobaby. 2.5 minutes left. There's going to be also full Satanic on him in 300 gold.
Yeah, these are some very fast timings. Dream, BKB is done. So, as I say, now Gambit in these fights, they have to worry a little less about their cores just instantly getting deleted by some sort of chain combo.
Huge difference comes from position 4 and 5. If you check the net worth and the items that they have, what Ogre provides, you have this buff ability, which gives your both cores extra attack speed and movement speed in a team fight. And then you have Rubik, who's godlike. 8, 0, and 10.
They get a good opening. Straight away here onto Limmp. Can they burst the DK in time? They can. They'll take down the Dragon Knight, but 33 just rolling around all of them. The BKBs are out from both GPK and Dream, but he's been taunted over towards Handsken. Dream getting low, and in fact, he's dead and gone. Handsken, again there, I believe, with the control. It was, I think, the stolen call, or at least the stolen Sinister Gauge probably, but that taunt, he's just locking down this morph as soon as that BKB ends, and they kill Dream. This time, Gambit, they do get trades in return.
They got 3 kills from it, and
it's a 3
once
for
again,
3.
GPK survives. That's what matters, even though they would want Dream to get some kind of XP and some kind of gold from that initiation. Slark still feels unkillable. They can't really kill this hero, especially with the Aegis and Cheese.
And we see it here again. A very close fight this time round. It would have been excellent for Gambit if they did not lose the Morphling, but as it was, they did. Dream goes down.
Just don't lose Morphling.
They've got to keep him alive. They need Dream to get his items in. It's Lincoln Sphere, it's Perseverance away. And GPK, just as you say, just this massive beast. He's going to try and go on the Pango, but 33, too tanky for him to take down alone. As he'll be able to get out with the Zip TP. 33's got nothing in his items to do against that one.
Once Storm Spirit gets to level 25, it's going to be pain in the ass to push out the waves. He can always just instantly kill them. And he is going for Aghanim Scepter. So this allows Lich's Chain Frost to deal more damage, also the AoE control. Also setting things up for Axe's Call.
On Gambit. They're ready to go. Grouped up as 5. They want to try and find a pick-off. Nikobaby is going to be the target. He used the Dark Pact. It will end. Can they get the opening stun? They try with the call, but it's off the mark. They don't get the call. And so Nikobaby's allowed to pop Shadow Dance and, in fact, turn and start to fight back on them. On the side, Handsken's being focused. The pullback with the Vortex. GPK without silence. He will kill off the Rubik. They get the 1-for-1, but it's, again, not a favorable trade for Gambit. They're losing Dream every single time at the start of each of these fights. FNG will fall on top of that as Limmp picks up the double kill.
Now it's time to go for high ground. GPK once again did not die. Still has Arcane Rune running Clarity Bottle. He wants to clear those creep waves. Only one level away from 25, and there it is. Oh, they left it. They're keeping the creep wave alive.
And they're into the base. They're fighting underneath tier 4s here, Alliance. Sentry's down. They've got the vision to look to go towards this Nyx Assassin. FNG will pull Nikobaby off to the side, but the Sinister Gaze ends. Can turn back towards, and they're forcing Vampire back. They don't want to lose these heroes this close to their Vantage, but they will do so as Fata Fire Blast the Nyx Assassin out of the game. They'll turn towards this tier 3 GPK. He's got so much work he needs to do, and he's trying his best. The BKB pop, he commits onto the Pango to get the follow-up Berserker's call. With the Remnant damage, they've got enough to burst Timbers. Yes, the Swashbuckle out, 33 still alive. The Glimmer came. GPK wants to finish it, but he cannot quite do so. He used all of his mana, has nothing left to get him out of there as they get team wiped Gambit. Alliance, they take the tier 3. And they can go for more. Even Nikobaby doing a bit of shopping in their fountain.
He drops Satanic. A little bit of a bad manner. The Storm wants to buy back and try to get it from there. Going for tier 4 tower. They want to end this game right now.
Dream's back in a couple of seconds. GPK and Shachlo do have buyback available. So they'll have one more fight in them, Gambit. But they're down 34-10. A 10k lead for Alliance. As Alliance, they're looking to end this. Gambit's got to do something quick if they want to hold on to their chances here at the mine. As Shachlo tries for the jump in, but he doesn't get the call in time. Dream commits with the BKB. He's trying to finish on Limmp, but Limp's too tanky. They turn Swashbuckle to start. BKB's popped by Dream. Nikobaby committing with the Shadow Dance onto Shachlo. The essence shifts. They're just getting too high. They're onto the Ancient Alliance. They're looking to close up this series. 5 seconds to the back. They're not even going to try. It's over. Gambit, they don't have a chance here to turn this one around as Alliance take game 2. The series is there, and they will move on to the grand finals to face Aster. And today, I mean, they really did play like they meant it, Alliance, especially in this game 2. Some incredible performances across the board. And I think there's no questions asked. These guys, they are ready to move on and try and challenge Aster in a best of 5.
Yeah, so far Aster did not drop a single game, and Alliance, if they keep playing like this, we're going to have a really interesting grand finals. Gambit, however, I think they're relying too much on GPK. Dream had way too many deaths in this game. His early stages got demolished, and a huge difference from position 4s and 5s. What they can do, what they bring into team fights, always having one extra item.
I mean, it was really just remarkable, Alliance's performance this game. You could tell whatever they did sort of over each day, the improvements that they're making, getting them back to that form that we know that this squad can reach. We've seen it before on LANs, and they're starting to touch upon that same level once again here, just when it's needed the most. This next step, this final step for them is going to be an incredibly hard challenge against Aster. But as you say, from what we saw in this second game, some of the moves, some of the plays individually just across the board.
33, man. It's definitely one of the best performances I've seen from him, even though he always delivers these 2 games on Pangolier and on that Timber Saw. The way he understands how to itemize, it's what makes him such a great player, just thinking outside of the box in which some of these items.
Absolutely. Well, a rough end for Gambit at the end of the day here. They came as far as they could, but they couldn't push on past Alliance. Alliance turning up with full fire here to start this final day. They will be the ones to move on and face Aster in a grand finals that I cannot wait to see. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be able to wrap this series up first with our beautiful panel as we pass it back to Alan and the boys.
Thank you very much. I'm here with 33 for Team Alliance. Congrats on that victory. You've struggled against Gambit in the group stage. And what were you thinking about coming into this match?
I think we were confident. This is actually our first time beating Gambit. We've lost to them 3 times before. In 2 lands we got eliminated by them, so it feels really good beating them, but I don't think we were so worried. We had a lot of confidence. We think we misplayed a lot in the previous game against them. We just we didn't really get to play our game, and we thought that if we play our game and we just do our stuff, we're going to beat them.
Okay, let's go through the first game of this particular matchup. You've seemed to not struggle, but you had some problems in the beginning of the game 1. So do you remember the crucial moment when you think that everything will change and you will win this one?
once again, we were confident in that game. I think I personally played a bit bad, a bit sloppy in the start of that game on Timber. That's why it felt a bit hard. I think we could have snowballed really hard if we played the early game properly, but we were never worried about this sniper hero. We thought that just going to get on top of him and kill him at some point. So we knew the game might take a while, but we were really confident.
We've seen a Dragon Knight from you for Nikobaby and for Limmp during 2 games in the row. So what is it that fits the playstyle that much in this hero?
Just a nice hero that can go in 2 different lanes, and both Limmp and Nico are very confident on it. So it's an easy pick for us.
So, the grand final ahead, you will play against Team Aster. They dominated this minor. They didn't drop a map here. What should we expect from this game?
It should be a good series. I think we're going to win, and we'll see how it goes. They are looking very strong, but I think we are on the up. So I think we got this.
Thank you very much for the interview and good luck in the grand final. And back to you guys.
Alliance, the comeback kids. They get a Divine Rapier comeback against Nigma in Game 5 of the qualifiers to reach the tournament. They get another Divine Rapier Troll Warlord last night to propel them to finals day, and a Barn Burner in the game of the tournament of Game 1. But in Game 2, they put on a clinic to earn the rematch against Aster in our upcoming Best of 5 grand finals. As we go one more time to our panel here, Winner and Lizard, let's start with the side of Gambit, because so much of the storyline in that team coming in today had been the other 2 cores in Shachlo and Dream had really been playing so well against young superstar GPK, but I think the Dream Morphling really let them down in this last one.
Yeah, it's sad to say it, it's sad to put it that way, but Dream Morphling really didn't perform as well as he usually could. Some would say there was a small chance of choking in this game that happened by Morphling. I think the game overall was hard, and it's more about Alliance playing so well than about Morphling just being
I mean, he was the 10 pick hero, and I felt like they didn't really set him up for success. You saw how the game started. The Lich actually left him alone. He went to mid and he just spammed Nova. He started with what, 6?
This is a Dragon Knight.
He started with 6 mangoes and 3 clarities. I know this is like a very small thing in the game, but the Morphling was alone at top lane against 2 heroes. What do you expect him to do? Look at his net worth right now.
Yeah, net worth. He was so low for the majority of the game early on.
Is the Storm more important than the Morphling in this game?
And one other thing, Winter, like if you're helping out Storm, why? He can always go and recover in the jungle around that tier 1. At the same time, Morphling doesn't have that. He doesn't have that luxury to fall back this early on. And if you help out Morphling early on, he's gonna dominate in that. With a couple of raid bans, you can leave him. He left him a bit too early.
I mean, if anything, the Lich going mid, casting those Novas on the DK actually killed the Storm later because he took some XP, and the Dragon Knight was able to get level 6 before the Storm got level 6, and he got ganked because he couldn't run away.
Yeah, it was a great read. They got a great rotation, and they killed Storm behind his own tier 1 tower just before he hit level 6.
It's hard to say what happened for Gambit, but they definitely underperformed in this second game. You could see a lot of Lich's ulti.
Watch the Chain Frost by
Chain Frost
Handsken.
Instantly stolen by Handsken, wipes them out.
Yeah, and this is the first of a couple of times he did this. This was an over 3k damage Chain Frost in that fight, and it was at this point that you felt like it was all but inevitable for Alliance. They were going to win the game.
I mean, it's more about like I felt like both games, right? It was like the mindset of them. They were always focusing on giving GPK a good game, even though this game his teammate is a Morphling. I don't think you can just abandon and give. Sure, there are a lot of situations that he made a mistake and he died, but he wasn't really set up for success this game.
He wasn't set up by his team and also Alliance. You see the Slark pick versus the Morphling, but it's not only about the Slark. It's about the full composition of this team that are tanky as hell. Morphling going for that E-Blade doesn't have nearly as much impact as he usually does versus some disruptors or whatever. He goes in, E-Blades the Ogre, doesn't even scratch him.
We saw that a couple times, though, during the 2 games in the series, that Gambit has looked so far ahead in terms of the way they've come together as a team with a relatively new roster this season. But under pressure from Alliance in the series, some of those strategic cracks really started to show. Going on the Ogre in that dire side mid fight there a couple highlights ago was really questionable. Yeah.
You can see here, Morphling, look at him.
He just goes in on full HP to a team fight and just dies.
Just some mistakes that shouldn't usually happen were happening, and perhaps it's a little bit of stage fright, and they're very close to reaching the grand finals, and their nerves get to you.
Yeah, I think it was Winner that said earlier, talking about Alliance, that sometimes you do have to get worse before you get better as a team in your development. And hopefully this is that moment for Gambit, that they're just showing a few of their wrinkles and they'll be able to get back, refocus, and practice and clean up some of these mistakes. Because this is not what we've seen from them so far this season.
Because they are juggling in their games. Who is the win condition?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get those off games and it's not so stable. The team is like, oh, who are we actually going to play around? Are we actually going to play around the Storm? Or it was already pre-decided that they just want to give Storm the best game and abandon the Morphling?
Doesn't this series make the grand finals even more exciting and
are you
interesting?
kidding? Absolutely.
Because Alliance, they lost versus Gambit. They also lost versus Aster, and now they made that comeback versus the Gambit squad. Perhaps they've learned something in the last couple of days, and they can outperform Aster as well.
Yeah, and I think you led into exactly the question that I wanted to ask the two of you, as you looked at Handsken leading the way with 10 kills in that last graphic, and Limmp leading the way with 20.5k hero damage here. It really felt like the rest of Alliance had stepped up today. Nikobaby didn't have to do all the heavy lifting in these two games.
Tri-core setup. I think this is something that Alliance have started to get a lot of success with. Before, we were always talking about 4 Protect 1, Nikobaby, Medusa, whatever, Rapier carry. But right now, they've shown everyone that they can actually do the other way as well.
When I saw this team, when I saw this tag the first time, that's how they used to play. Nikobaby could be given these lash racks even, but these heroes that are not really your complete win condition. They used to play around more cores having as big of an impact. But somewhere along the way, they got lost in the Medusa's lands and just started picking these super hard carries.
It's not just about the Medusa, it's about when they were playing. I think it started when they were playing with Gambit in the group stage, and Gambit decided to ban all of Nikobaby's heroes, and they were struggling to find a solution. But what they did was they tried to pick carries early without seeing many heroes, and the carries got punished. Niko had a bad hero. And then from then on, I think they started to realize, oh wait, we are over-relying on one person. What do we do in the future if this happens again? And that one thing led to another, and they slowly came up with a solution. It wasn't something that happened after one series. It happened like across, 3 series?
Oh, absolutely. And you could see over time them going in this direction, and potentially it crystallized in the series with Aster last night, where, or throughout the tournament really, where Aster has been running these more 4 Protect 1 strategies. Alliance knew that they needed to get more people involved in order to play against a team on that level.
Yeah. When you see a team manage to address and solve a very deep-rooted problem such as that one, you can definitely see that the potential is also very high for them.
So we do have a little bit of time, guys, before this grand final. So let's take a little bit of a look ahead, potentially, at that matchup, because I know, Lizard, you've been on the Aster train since day one of the tournament.
I have.
They've looked convincingly like the best team in the event, yet to drop a map. Is this going to be deja vu all over again, or do you think Alliance can elevate their level of play and give them a series?
Last year, the Chinese team that went into this minor did a very similar thing and just won without dropping a match in the grand finals as well. This time around, that time I think they were playing versus Gambit. This time it's going to be Alliance. We'll see how well Alliance can do versus them. Obviously, this Alliance isn't the same Alliance that we have seen in the group stages. They have improved quite a lot throughout these last few days. So Aster are still my favorites, but Alliance, yeah, if the stars align, I think they can take it.
Well, I think right now, I feel like Alliance is actually the better bet to win the championship, because I feel like Aster, they have been perfect so far, so they didn't even drop one game. They have nothing to fix, but Alliance has gone through a hurdle. They fixed something huge within their team, so there's going to be like a huge power spike and confidence. And
like
Aster,
Goku.
they might run into a problem now, but they won't have enough time to fix because it's already the grand final.
Yeah, and they are, it's worth saying, right, they are working with a new coach at this event, as LaNm is standing in for QQQ. Winner, if you're talking to the Alliance guys right now and talking to them about how are we going to play against a team that has looked so dominant so far, including a 2-0 of us, what are you talking about in terms of preparing your players for the series?
I think right now they have they have enough tools to deal with Aster. Before this, they were a bit more limited with their tools. They couldn't really adjust. They were not so flexible. But right now, I think they just need to focus on themselves, pick what they feel is best for the given scenario, and just play their game.
Yeah, it's difficult to address Aster. Like we've said this multiple times, their drafts are so versatile. You can't really prepare for them. If you're banning out Aster, you're pretty much banning out the meta heroes, and that's it. You aren't necessarily targeting anyone. And they also had this series to play, so you kind of have to take it one step at a time. They had to prepare for Gambit. Perhaps the things that they have used for Gambit can also work for them versus the Aster.
Who do you feel like is the key player for Alliance going into this grand finals? Who really needs to step up for them if they're going to upset the Chinese juggernaut?
I think this tri-core lineup that they have successfully ran in the first game can also be utilized versus Aster.
Okay.
And Limmp obviously has to really carry them hard, but their success comes from sharing the load on 3 cores.
I think Fata is going to be an important person with the draft, though. Like the draft is going to decide a lot, and it's going to be a lot of competition between snatching the support heroes. I think this game is going to be a lot on the supports to decide how well the cores can carry the game.
I think if you were to ask me that, it's no accident that the 2 games that Alliance has looked best in this tournament have been 33's 2 best games in this last series. He looked amazing on that Timbersaw and delivered in every way you could ask for on the Pangolier in game 2. I think when you talk about him, the matchup with XXS is, I think, going to define a lot of the final series.
By the way, Fata, you talked about his drafting skills. I just want to talk about his in-game focus and in-game skills as well. Even though his heroes aren't really necessarily flashy, you have these ogres, Jakiro not really in this tournament, but you have these tanks. The way he played them in the last series is exceptional.
Agreed.
Ogre moving into the Rosh pit to catch that Morphling as he pounces out, then Morphling moving, then Ogre just moving onto the high ground to tank all the damage, to give all the info for his team. I want to see Fata on these kind of heroes. I don't want to see an AA, these squishy sideliners. I want to see him just running it.
Completely agree. Well, we are set up for an epic grand final here to cap off what's been an awesome 4 days of Dota coming at you from Kyiv. We're going to take a quick break, be right back at you with a best of 5 grand finals. But first, as a special treat, we have some footage of KheZu, the North American squad, early on in the tournament. Here is the 5 members of KheZu in game and on the